Reports from multiple sources suggest that the iPhone 17 Pro will introduce an unusual rear design that differs from the layouts seen in earlier generations. Observers claim that the camera arrangement may remain in the typical triangular formation, but will rest within a wide horizontal bar that covers a large portion of the device's back panel. This bar may include the flash and additional sensors, thus creating an appearance that some might mistake for a fully horizontal camera row. Despite various early renderings, current rumors indicate that the final layout will not feature a slim bar that stretches neatly across the top. Instead, the design may include a bar of greater height, positioned to accommodate the familiar triangular camera system on the left and the flash, microphone, or LiDAR module on the right. This rumored approach has led to questions about Apple's internal design priorities. Some observers have wondered why Apple would keep the triangular arrangement of the cameras instead of shifting to a single straight row. In past devices, the presence of the Face ID hardware within the top area of the phone limited how the camera modules could be placed. Even with the newer dynamic island design, certain internal elements remain near the top of the device, restricting how far the camera system can extend. This situation explains why earlier concepts depicting a simple horizontal line of cameras across the phone may be impractical. The front-facing hardware still needs space, so the rear cameras must remain somewhat offset to avoid overlap with internal sensors. Individuals who have reportedly seen the iPhone 17 Pro prototype describe it as lighter than expected. There is some speculation that the device's frame may use aluminum or a different grade of titanium than what appeared in previous Pro models. Sources do not appear certain if the weight reduction stems from a new metal or a thinner overall design. Past generations of iPhone Pro models featured stainless steel frames, or more recently, titanium frames. Either option provides a premium feel, but titanium is often prized for its strength and lightness. At the same time, aluminum is typically associated with non-Pro iPhones or older models. Some have suggested that Apple may be experimenting with new alloys to balance durability and minimal weight. It remains unclear if the iPhone 17 Pro will finalize this rumored transition. Another point of interest involves the two-tone rumors that have circulated for months. Early reports described a striking color separation on the rear, similar to a bold band of contrasting color that would divide the top and bottom halves of the phone. While some concept artists took that information literally, later sources clarify that the two-tone effect may be less about paint or glass color and more about the large camera bar itself. By occupying so much space across the upper rear portion, this bar creates a natural contrast in texture or tone against the rest of the phone's back panel. Some observers believe that Apple will achieve this effect by using different finishes on the bar and the lower portion. Others propose that a tinted glass or distinct protective layer will form the bar, giving the illusion of a two-tone design without truly splitting the phone into two separate color fields. The iPhone 17 Pro is also said to retain the dynamic island on the front display. Analysts predict that the dynamic island hardware will not shrink significantly in this generation, although there may be minor changes to internal layouts or sensor positions. The possibility of a fully hidden front camera beneath the display is not expected to become reality with this model, especially if Apple intends to maintain the Face ID components at peak efficiency. The need to house these sensors securely limits the freedom to reduce or relocate them. Designers who create early renderings of iPhones sometimes overlook these hardware constraints, which can result in appealing, yet unrealistic, visual concepts. Some industry watchers interpret these changes as Apple's attempt to introduce fresh ideas in response to growing competition. Past releases have sometimes been criticized for failing to provide meaningful design alterations from one year to the next. This new layout, with a large horizontal bar on the back, may reflect Apple's willingness to experiment more boldly. However, critics question whether this is truly an inspired approach or simply a strategy to appear distinctive. The horizontal camera bar might have practical reasons, such as reorganizing internal components or separating the camera hardware from other modules, but it might also be an example of change for its own sake. In previous years, Apple set trends that other smartphone manufacturers followed, Yet some suggest that Apple is now influenced by external forces rather than acting as an innovator in every category. For example, the company's swift release of Apple Intelligence, a feature set meant to harness artificial intelligence capabilities, arrived sooner than expected. It has been described as a reaction to AI developments from other large technology brands. The iPhone 17 Pro's design, featuring a bar that could resemble those on competing devices, seems to follow a similar pattern. Observers note that Apple's reputation for refined design choices remains strong, but the brand's willingness to adopt influences from the broader market has become more evident. Questions about the iPhone 17 Pro's materials and overall feel persist. A design that appears large and robust in images might be surprisingly manageable in hand if the device is constructed with advanced metals or new glass technology. Some individuals who handle prototypes have reported that the phone feels balanced, even if it looks substantial. The rumored horizontal camera bar is expected to be taller than many fans initially imagined. In official images or in-person demonstrations, the camera bar may appear to occupy the top third of the phone's rear panel, with only the bottom two-thirds remaining as a single, uniform surface. Additional details about the iPhone 17 Pro have emerged in discussions related to protective accessories. If the camera bar stands out in height or width, case manufacturers will need to adapt their designs accordingly. Protective cases might feature a wide cutout or an extended raised area. These developments could influence the final aesthetic when users apply covers to their devices. Many iPhone owners prefer a case, so Apple's official cases or third-party solutions will likely showcase that horizontal bar in a way that emphasizes or conceals its presence. Beyond the physical design, the iPhone 17 Pro is expected to continue Apple's approach of incremental performance upgrades. This pattern has become typical for the brand's annual releases. Some reports mention advanced battery technology, though details remain scarce. There is also talk of improved wireless connectivity or refined camera software. The main public focus, however, remains on the device's exterior. Since last year's iPhones did not offer dramatic visual shifts, the iPhone 17 Pro's updated design might stand out more noticeably. Some observers are also discussing Apple's approach to design cycles. The company often introduces a major change every few years, then refines it incrementally for subsequent releases. This cycle helps Apple manage production costs and maintain consistency, but it can leave consumers desiring more dramatic updates. In this case, the iPhone 17 Pro's rumored horizontal bar may be the bold move that signals the end of a long era of minimal external alterations. The question is whether this bar will be praised as a modern, attractive style, or criticized as an odd departure from the refined look of past models. In discussions about software, Apple Intelligence has been singled out as an example of Apple's recent attempts to keep pace with other firms. The iPhone 17 Pro is expected to integrate the newest version of Apple Intelligence, but there are no signs that the feature alone will drive major hardware changes. Some suspect that Apple might eventually incorporate specialized AI hardware or sensors, but the current leaks do not confirm such an approach for this generation. Instead, the phone's design changes appear to revolve around external appearance, camera positioning, and possibly the selection of new metals or glass materials. There have also been reports that the iPhone 17 Pro might support new wireless protocols or advanced charging speeds. However, these rumors remain less defined than those concerning the device's physical layout. Analysts note that Apple typically introduces charging enhancements at a slower pace than some competitors, preferring to focus on reliability and safety. The horizontal bar does not appear to relate directly to battery or charging features. It is mainly tied to the arrangement of cameras and sensors, as well as Apple's desire to present a new silhouette for its flagship device. Even though many individuals have welcomed any change from Apple, a portion of the community remains uncertain. Some question whether this horizontal bar truly solves any design problems, or if it simply introduces a new shape without functional gains. Others believe that Apple might reveal additional uses for the space behind the bar, perhaps including new lens technology or advanced optical hardware. Until more details emerge, the design remains a subject of debate, with observers split between excitement for something fresh and caution about an unproven direction. There is also speculation that the iPhone 17 Pro might appear more like certain Android devices that have employed horizontal camera bars in past years. Apple's shift could reflect an acknowledgement that the smartphone world has grown more diverse, and the company no longer stands apart in every aspect of hardware design. Some see this as evidence that Apple is absorbing influences from outside its usual ecosystem, while others argue that Apple's design language still remains distinctive enough to stand on its own. Industry insiders have hinted that final decisions on materials and colors might not be set in stone. Apple is known for testing multiple prototypes before settling on the final version. If the phone's frame is indeed made of titanium, it might carry a different finish or texture than older stainless steel frames. A horizontal camera bar might accentuate these surface differences, especially if the bar itself is constructed from a contrasting material or given a separate finish. This interplay of materials could be the basis for the rumored two-tone effect, which some sources misinterpreted as a bold color split. Despite the ongoing discussion, many of these leaks remain unofficial. However, the repeated mention of a large camera bar from different sources adds weight to the claim. The phone is expected to keep the triangular camera arrangement within that bar, preserving the brand's hallmark lens placement. The combination of a more imposing bar and a lighter body may mark the iPhone 17 Pro as a departure from the immediate past, but it might not represent a total reinvention of the device. Observers are left to consider how this design choice fits into Apple's broader strategy of incremental updates paired with occasional big changes. Several commentators have also highlighted Apple's strategy of influencing the market through hardware aesthetics. If the iPhone 17 Pro does indeed adopt a new shape, other manufacturers may respond with their own design shifts. This possibility hinges on whether consumers embrace or reject the new form. If the horizontal bar proves popular, it could spark a trend. If it is met with disapproval, Apple may quietly refine the design in subsequent versions. A further rumor relates to Apple's evolving brand image. Some watchers claim that the company is more reactive than before, pointing to the introduction of Apple Intelligence as evidence of a shift. The iPhone 17 Pro's rumored design might reflect this new phase of influence from external forces. Yet Apple remains known for quality control and cohesive design principles, so the final device could harmonize these new ideas with the brand's established aesthetic. Many people are waiting to see if Apple can unite the old and the new in a way that feels purposeful. In the end, the leaks depict a phone that aims to look different from last year's models. The wide horizontal bar, the uncertain but potentially lighter frame, and the continuing presence of the dynamic island combine to create a product that may surprise those who have grown accustomed to Apple's steady approach. Whether this change is well received may depend on factors such as comfort in hand, visual appeal, and the perceived value of Apple's design evolution. For now, the device remains a subject of rumor and speculation, with many awaiting official confirmation of the iPhone 17 Pro's final form.